The appearance of the two people attracted the attention of the cute pink-haired girl. Li Jialuo quickly went to her sister's side. She pointed and exclaimed, "Sister, look at that handsome man over there. He seems to have received an invitation too." At this moment, Carrie Li, an outdoor blogger, responded to the girl, "He might be a wilderness survival expert, unlike us." Upon hearing this, Li Jialuo became even more excited, completely ignoring that her sister was feeling quite shy. "Isn't that just perfect? That's where you're weak. If we could team up with him, we could go much further." Footsteps were heard, and Huang Yunhang, another outdoor blogger, approached. He sat down on a chair and replied to Li Jialuo's earlier words. "Luo Luo, you're taking this too seriously. With my skills and Jia Er's, we basically don't need anyone else's help." All three looked in the same direction, resembling a strong team. Huang Yunhang continued, "As long as I team up with your sister Jia Er, getting first place won't be a major issue." After settling into their positions, Lin Yi asked Ren Si, "Are these people also invited?" The girl turned to respond to him. "Surprised, huh? Many performances have related segments. Don't underestimate them. These people are quite skilled. Some are wild survival experts, very famous in their field. In general, it's not simple." Hearing this, he smiled and exclaimed, "Isn't this just a reality show of real people? Yet it feels so grand." He asked further, "Have you found the location yet?" The girl, upon hearing this, ran her fingers through a few strands of hair and replied, "We have contacted several studios for organization. The location is a deserted island in the sea. The conditions are harsh, so you should be mentally prepared." He listened to her and, while reading the contract, wondered, "Is this for real? Is there a chance of death?" Ren Si looked at him and answered, "Don't worry, we have many safety measures in place. As long as you don't go seeking death yourself, everything will be fine. Just take a look at the contract first. If there are no issues, then sign it." The prize section in the contract read, "First prize 50 million, second prize 30 million, and third prize 10 million. Soon after, the name Lin Yi was written in the signature position. Once done, he said, "There shouldn't be anything else, right?" She held the contract in her hand and smiled to respond, "There's nothing else from the contestant side." Suddenly, the girl shyly covered her mouth and promised him, "Wait until you win first place. However you want to play, I'll accommodate you." Lin Yi heard this and leaned close to her, whispering in her ear, "Saying that, Ren Si, like you, is indeed the most charming, very straightforward, no beating around the bush." Outside the building, Lin Yi looked at the long line of people waiting and thought to himself, "So many people queuing to register." Suddenly, a voice called out to him from behind, "Hey, handsome, wait up!" Lin Yi turned around and recognized Li Jialuo smiling, her eyes half closed as she approached him. She stepped forward and asked, "Are you also one of the invited guests of the event?" Lin Yi looked at her with a judging gaze, thinking to himself, "With such a weak physique, even if her skills are good, it's hard to make it to the end." As if she sensed his evaluating gaze, she introduced Carrie Li, who stood behind her, saying, "It's not me participating, it's my sister." Carrie Li stepped forward to greet him. "Hello, I'm a contestant participating in this competition." She approached and expressed her desire to collaborate, saying, "I want to partner with you." Unexpectedly, Lin Yi flatly refused. "No need." The girl was taken aback, her expression darkening, and then the sound of a car door slamming echoed loudly. Carrie Li stood watching the car rush away, leaving the two sisters standing there. The older sister, seemingly still in shock, said, "Is that the rejection already?" Meanwhile, the younger sister was incredibly excited, exclaiming, "So cool!" Carrie Li, as if angered by the rejection, had a grim expression on her face. "I'm not someone who can't find the team." A moment later, at Kyushu residence, Lin Yi had just driven up when someone was already waiting for him. The person held a package in hand. "Mr. Lin, there's a express delivery package for you." Lin Yi did not get out of the car, quickly saying, "Thank you." He hurriedly tore open the package, not knowing what was inside that made him look so flustered. The contents read, "Hello, Mr. Lin Yi. Your younger brother unfortunately fell into the water and passed away on October 10th. The burial will take place at 10 a.m. He was 27 years old. The funeral will be held this weekend. We hope friends and family can attend." After reading this, he fell into deep thought. Vardana is indeed more ruthless than I imagined. It seems she won't give up. I need to seize the time and strive for the success of Technique 3.0. Just then, someone called. As he answered, the person on the other end hurriedly reported, "Mr. Lin, there's a problem. The company is suing us for monopoly. The summons has already been handed over to us." You were very surprised. Huh. After that, the car immediately accelerated, flying down the road. The voices in the car continued to discuss the lawsuit. "Don't panic. The company's projects are still developing normally. Don't worry about this." The other side replied, "Isn't it necessary to handle it a bit?" Lin Yi's expression was extremely solemn. "This is not an ordinary commercial lawsuit. Someone is meddling behind the scenes. I can handle it myself." A little later, at Longxin Research Institute, Lin Yi had regained his demeanor and cheerfully greeted, "Hello, Boss Shen." When Mr. Shen saw him arrive, he turned and asked, "You're here? By the way, I heard you were reported by Ying. What's going on?" He expressed a bit of concern, telling Lin Yi, "Ying, after all, is a leading enterprise in the industry. This news spreading will have a certain impact on the company." The young man sat comfortably down on a chair, adopting a very relaxed posture, and responded to him, "I know about this, but it doesn't have much impact on me." While he was reading documents, Mr. Shen spoke up. "It seems the first battle of technological science is happening on your front." He did not respond, and Mr. Shen lowered his eyes to ask, "Do you know why I'm here today?" Hearing that, he hurriedly asked, "Is there something important?" The young man suddenly became serious, his eyes dark, placed a USB on the table and simply said, "Uncle, take a look at this." Lin Yi placed the USB on the table and said, "This is the 3.0 chip technology, the most advanced in the world. I can't speak for other things, but at least it's a few months ahead of Ying." Shen Tianzhuo picked it up to examine it and couldn't help but exclaim, "Your kid is truly a genius. Last time you said you could achieve handle 4 NM, was it based on this?" Lin Yi quickly replied, "That's right. Recently, there have been a lot of things happening. Otherwise, I would have finished it long ago. Our institute still can't use something this advanced. If we give this to Company A, what do you think Ying will do?" Shen Tianzhuo exclaimed joyfully, "Ying will blow up!" He quickly plugged the USB into the computer. Shen Tianzhuo looked at the screen thoughtfully and said, "This can at least reduce Ying's market share by 3 points and also help Company A retaliate comprehensively in technology and operations." Lin Yi behind him did not hesitate to praise. "That's right. Boss Shen has a good eye. I think the same way." Li Yi said, "Since I started working, there hasn't been a match as exciting as this one. I can't wait any longer." Shen Tianzhuo joyfully replied, "I think on the technical aspect, this title of Boss Shen is about to be too much for me to handle." Hearing this, Lin Yi humbly responded, No, don't say that. On this front, you have always been the big boss. Could you please check if this can be bugged?" Shen Tianzhuo willingly said, "No problem. Just focus on your work. I'll take care of the testing process." Suddenly, his phone rang. Lin Yi quickly answered, "Hello?" On the other end, a voice said, "Brother Lin, I just received a call from Ying. Their people want to meet us to talk at Zunyi Palace at 6 p.m. tonight." After hearing the location, Lin Yi pondered, "Zunyi Palace, okay." The scene quickly shifted to Zunyi Palace, where delicious dishes and glasses of red wine were laid out on the table. At that moment, 2 figures were sitting down for a meal. A girl in a black dress raised her wine glass and spoke. "My love, why aren't you saying anything?" She was Andy Alice, the daughter of President Ying. Zhao Wen quickly replied, "I have said everything that needs to be said." Later, Whatever everyone talks about, I won't participate. Moreover, while we're talking, don't call me, just let me eat." Hearing this, Andy Alice immediately said in a teasing tone, "No way! Why are you so afraid of that man? Is he a devil or something?" Jawen felt a little scared and replied, "The last time with the 6 major pharmaceutical companies, I had some interactions with him. He's not a devil, but even scarier than a devil." However, Andy Alice remained calm and responded, "He is really impressive. It must be due to your carelessness. As for me, I've prepared well. In the field of medicine, we have Tianfu with exceptional capabilities, and they are in the technical field, with no tricks that can threaten us. The initiative is in my hands." Zhao Wen thought to herself, "How did I end up with such a silly classmate? I just hope Lin Yi won't get mad at me." At that moment, footsteps sounded, and Andy Alice quickly reacted. "He's coming!" Not long after, Lin Yi's figure appeared right in front of them. He noticed Zhao Wen's presence and looked a bit surprised. Lin Yi immediately asked, "What are you doing here? Do you two know each other?" Zhao Wen hurriedly explained, "We're just classmates. She came to Nation TH, so I came along with her." Andy Alice quickly approached and politely extended her hand to greet Mr. Lin. However, he did not respond and simply sat down in his chair. Lin Yi didn't look at her and said, "Let's eat. I've been busy outside all afternoon, and I'm a bit hungry." Andy Alice felt a little awkward, but after a moment, she offered the menu to invite Mr. Lin to order. However, Lin Yi didn't even bother to look at it and told the waiter, "No need to check the menu, I'll take one of everything on the menu." Andy Alice was a bit taken aback upon hearing this, but quickly agreed, "All right then, I'll do as you say, Mr. Lin." Before long, an abundance of dishes was lavishly spread out on the table. Lin Yi immediately dove into the food like a hungry tiger. Unable to contain herself, Andy Alice asked, "Mr. Lin, don't you have anything you want to say?" At that moment, Lin Yi was chewing vigorously and suddenly remembered, Right. I just remembered." However, his words surprised Zhao Wen and Andy Alice. "Thank you for the meal. I have to eat now." Andy Alice did not give up and continued, "That's not what I meant. I think we should discuss business. Regarding the lawsuit against Long Sin, I can withdraw the case, but I hope to obtain shares of Long Sin." Lin Yi took a bite of the meat, and after a moment, he disdainfully spoke up. "Do you people use your brains to eat rice? How can you come up with such a request?" Andy Alice was not hesitant to respond. "I think doing it this way is beneficial for both our companies. Ying is a major player in the industry with a larger scale. You have numerous products under your control, so Mr. Lin should consider this matter." Suddenly, Lin Yi stood up. "I know Ying is strong, but Company A is not to be underestimated either. The gap between us can be easily seen with the naked eye. But don't think you can sit firmly on the throne forever." He took out a USB and said, "This thing is enough to knock you off your throne." Andy Alice quickly reached out to take it and immediately plugged the USB into the computer. Documents instantly appeared on the screen. At this moment, everyone was focused on watching. Andy Alice quickly clicked on the document displayed on the screen. Immediately, images of numerous girls dressed provocatively, producing sounds that would make listeners blush, filled the screen. Andy Alice was utterly speechless upon seeing it, and Lin Yi quickly withdrew the USB. Sorry, I took the wrong USB." He quickly took out another one and said, "This one is correct." Lin Yi saw that she did not believe it, so he confirmed again, "Really, trust me." At that moment, the computer displayed lines of code. Lin Yi quickly spoke up. "This is the code for the 3-point chip. We have registered the copyright already. As for the other things, I won't say much more. Tell me, what do you think will happen if I sell this to Company A?" Andy Alice was a bit taken aback and said, 3.0 code? We've been researching for over 2 years and still haven't developed the 3.0 chip technology. How can you have done it?" Lin Yi replied leisurely, "Do you think I just spend my days doing nothing and know nothing?" Hearing this, she hesitated a bit and said, "Could it be that you developed this?" Lin Yi answered without hesitation, "That's not important. You just need to know that what you're looking at now is the 3.0 chip technology." Zhao Wen thought to himself, this can be considered a weapon of mass destruction. If he sells this to Company A, the global chip landscape will change, leading to a seismic shift. Lin Yi is indeed Lin Yi. Andy Alice closed the laptop and said, "Mr. Lin, you truly are a standard businessman." She continued, "But with Long Sin's current level, you already know. Even if this technique is left behind, it cannot be used. I hope you can hand this project over to us." But Lin Yi immediately refused, "But I don't lack money." Andy Alice was somewhat surprised and asked again, "So what do you want?" Lin Yi immediately stated his condition, "I want shares of the photolithography company." She became angry upon hearing this and shouted, "No way! We and they are two separate companies. We cannot exchange anything with you." Seeing this, Lin Yi took out the USB and said without hesitation, "If not, then forget it. We'll talk another time. I have an appointment with someone from Company A to see if they have any solutions." Andy Alice immediately blocked his way. "Mr. Lin, you can't do that." But Lin Yi didn't care at all. "You should know that it took you more than 2 years to barely produce this. I only need 3 months. With 4.0, I just need half a year. I guarantee your product will be 1 generation behind Company A." Before leaving, he bid them farewell. "Goodbye." Zhao Wen quickly said, "Do you believe me now? Lin Yi, you can't provoke him." Andy Alice felt a bit dazed and said, "I underestimated him. I didn't expect him to be so formidable, but he won't be able to threaten me." Zhao Wen, a little skeptical, asked, "Are you serious or joking?" Andy Alice, filled with confidence, replied, "I secretly copied his source code earlier." As she opened her computer, a notification immediately appeared. Andy Alice exclaimed in shock, "Impossible! This is my personal computer and it's not connected to the internet. How could this happen?" Zhao Wen approached her, patted her on the shoulder, and comfortingly said, "It seems that when you first plugged in the USB, your computer was already infected with a virus. Furthermore, everything on your computer could also be accessed by him." After hearing this, Andy Alice felt a bit flustered. The computer was notifying her that documents and data had been deleted. She thought to herself, "All my documents are gone." Unable to comprehend, Andy Alice cried out, "How could this happen?" At that moment, the streets were beautifully decorated for the Christmas holiday. The atmosphere was lively. Lin Yi walked alone on the street, thinking, "Christmas is approaching. It seems I should prepare some gifts." When he arrived at a jewelry store, he quickly walked inside. Upon seeing him, the staff immediately approached and asked, "Sir, are you looking to buy a gift for your girlfriend? We have 2 new products in our store recently. Would you like to take a look?" Lin Yi immediately agreed. The staff quickly took out a jade bracelet and said, "Sir, this bracelet is a special offer for the Christmas season from our store. There are only 20 pieces available nationwide, and 8 have already been sold. You can take a look." Lin Yi leaned closer to look, a bit thoughtful, and said, 18 million seems a bit expensive, but it's quite beautiful. Expensive is expensive." The staff was a bit surprised and said, "I remember." Lin Yi spoke up, "Wrap it all up for me." As soon as he finished speaking, everyone in the store was taken aback. Lin Yi happily said, "I'll take this." The people around were whispering, each with their mouths agape, astonished at the situation unfolding before them. Seeing this, Lin Yi turned to ask with a puzzled expression, "Why are they looking at me like that? Do I not have the right to buy? Or do I need to place an order?" The female staff member standing beside him blushed, stammering, No, that's not it. Sir, you misunderstood. It's not 18 million, but 1.18 million. The jade bracelet was neatly placed on a beautiful shelf. Upon hearing the staff's words, Lin Yi leaned over to examine the bracelet closely and said, "So it's 1.8 million, then I'll take it." The female employee was taken aback, flashed a cheerful smile, and asked, "Sir, do you want to swipe your card or pay in cash?" Upon hearing her, Lin Yi responded, "Don't rush. I still want to buy other things. Is there anything else? As soon as he finished speaking, the employee appeared confused, as if she didn't understand what had just been said. She asked again, buy more? Then she added, sir, it's usually enough to give just one gift for Christmas. Hearing this, Lin Yi replied in a somewhat awkward tone, that's true, but it's not just for one person. How to also get all the rain? The employee was taken aback by that statement, stuttering awkwardly, Get it, rain. Everyone around wore a puzzled expression, as if they couldn't believe what they had just heard. They all gasped in shock. The female employee then reached out her hand, pointed at the product, and said, well, please come this way. This is the necklace from our newly launched collection, and it's also the last one in the collection. The price is 19.8 million. The necklace with the intricately carved emerald exuded an incredibly luxurious and splendid beauty. Then Lin Yi took out a golden card from his pocket. He spoke up, all right, then these two things, wrap them up for me, and also choose two more for me. Seeing the card he was holding, the employee's face was filled with astonishment. She thought to herself, diamond membership card? A man standing nearby approached and said, brother, having 4 intimate ladies at once is quite impressive. Hearing this, Lin Yi replied, it's nothing special. Mainly, it's just because of my own charm. The man felt a bit shy upon hearing this, and he responded, I'd like to ask you for a favor, okay? Isn't it said that women at 30 are like wolves, and at 40 like tigers? But why is the female tiger in our family so obedient? As he spoke, he scratched his head helplessly. Suddenly, a hand was placed on the man's shoulder. Lin Yi approached and said, it's not that the years are peaceful, it's just that someone is helping you bear the burden. Upon hearing this, he exclaimed in alarm, huh? He thought in his mind, what does that mean? Then Lin Yi immediately walked away. The scene shifted to a large apartment building. The sky had begun to darken. Lin Yi approached and knocked on the door. A voice from inside said, who is it? Upon hearing this, he replied, collecting the water bill. The sound of the door opening echoed from inside. Wang Ying appeared, wearing a seductive nightgown. She spoke up, asking, why are you here? Aren't you supposed to be with CEO G? Hearing her question, Lin Yi replied, she is busy, I came to visit you. After saying that, the two of them stepped inside together. Wang Ying closed the door with an excited expression. Seeing that, Lin Yi helplessly said, it's you this time. I said it was to collect the water bill. You dared to open the door anyway. Hearing this, she smiled brightly and replied, I heard your voice, so I opened the door for you. Besides, today I decided to delay the fee. No one is coming to collect it. As soon as she finished speaking, Wang Ying's expression revealed clear seduction. Her eyes shyly glanced at Lin Yi. Upon hearing that, Lin Yi suddenly turned to ask, are you sure? Wang Ying immediately replied, sure. Suddenly, she became angry, striking towards Lin Yi and yelling with rage, are you still daring to check for real? Lin Yi quickly raised his hands to shield himself, fearfully answering, didn't you say so? At this moment, Wang Ying's gaze became calm. She raised her hand to cover her mouth and softly said, that's right, just wait for me a moment, just a little while. After saying that, she turned and left, leaving Lin Yi filled with confusion. A little later, she turned around, the sound of footsteps echoing. At this moment, she was still holding a gift package in her hand. With a joyful expression, she said, I prepared a Christmas gift for you. Do you like it? Saying that, she extended the gift towards Lin Yi. Just to let you know, it's not expensive, so if you don't like it, feel free to say so. Hearing her say that, he did not respond. In his hand, he held a belt and pulled it out with a surprised expression. At that moment, Lin Yi felt shy, reddened, and said, how could that be? Just when I needed a belt, I also prepared a gift for you. After saying that, he handed the gift box to her. Wang Ying took it with a bit of surprise. Wow! A jade bracelet. This must cost quite a bit, right? Hearing that, Lin Yi quickly replied, "Don't ask the price, just see if it looks good on you." Immediately, Wang Ying put the bracelet on her wrist, her face showing a bit of joy, exclaiming, "Actually, I could guess that you would come to give a gift, but I didn't expect you would give me a jade bracelet. What did you think I would get?" After saying that, the belt was wrapped around her hand. Seeing that, Wang Ying felt confused and said, "It's the kind of thing that's half covered, half revealed. Don't men usually like to give their partners such things? What are you doing?" Then Lin Yi's hands grasped Wang Ying's wrist. Instantly, he raised his hand high. This surprise caught her off guard, and she fell into the arms of the man in front of her. Lin Yi's arm held onto one side of her clothing, then pulled it aside. Wang Ying's body was placed sitting against the table. He pressed his body close to hers and asked, "What are you running from?" Wang Ying could only let out a cry. "Ah!" She blushed with embarrassment, looking straight into the eyes of the man before her. She then said, "I'm not running, but why are you tying me up?" Their lips were so close to each other. A kiss from Lin Yi took Wang Ying by surprise, making her widen her eyes in astonishment. The two of them pulled away, their warm breaths creating an intimate atmosphere. Lin Yi began to lift her, cradling the girl before him. He held her gently. Wang Ying nestled comfortably in Lin Yi's embrace. Seeing that, he let out a soft smile and looked at her. The two of them slowly moved closer to the bed. At that moment, Lin Yi took off his shirt and, while doing so, replied, "Tying you up is what makes it interesting." Then the two of them embraced each other and spent a passionate night together. Clothes were carelessly strewn across the floor in a messy manner. The scene shifts to the second day at the healthcare center. The sky is clear with a hint of clouds. Warm light streams through each window. In the patient room, a picturesque scene unfolds. The nurses spoke in unison. "Director Lin, you've returned." Everyone's faces were beaming with joy. Lin Yi replied, "I had some free time, so I came back to visit everyone." In his hand, he held a gift package. One female nurse covered her mouth with her hand and whispered softly, "Ha ha, you're here to visit Director Li, right? She's in her room." Upon hearing the nurse's words, Lin Yi was a bit startled. He then replied, "I'm here quietly. Don't tell her I'm here, okay?" After saying that, he waved goodbye to everyone. In the break room, Li Chu-han opened the door, preparing to step outside. The sound of clicking continued to ring out. Suddenly, a hand appeared right in front of her, startling her. That hand covered her eyes, causing her to instinctively retreat against the door. Lin Yi saw this and chuckled softly. After a long pause, she immediately spoke. "Lin Yi." "So how do you know it's me?" Lin Yi replied. Seeing the man in front of her, Li Chu-han gasped in surprise, then dived into his embrace with a somewhat joyful expression. "I can smell the scent on your hand." Lin Yi sighed and said, "Oh dear, it's not interesting at all. I thought I could surprise you." Seeing this, Li Chu-han said, "Are you not happy then? Let's try it again." Hearing her words, Lin Yi pinched her cheek and said, "How could I not be happy? Christmas is coming soon. I'm giving you a gift. Let's see if you like it." His hand presented the gift towards her. She saw what was happening in front of her and suddenly felt shy, saying, "You don't need to buy me anything. Just your visit is enough for me." Suddenly, a hand wrapped around her waist, pulling her snugly into Lin Yi's arms. He replied, "How can that be?" "Others have gifts. You must also have a present to open." He grasped the jade pendant inside the box and brought it out. "Help me put it on." As soon as he finished speaking, he immediately bent down to fasten the necklace around her neck. His warm voice made her blush. Suddenly, a teardrop fell, landing on Lin Yi's hand. Li Chu-han immediately turned her head, tears sparkling in the corners of her eyes. Seeing this, he said, "It's okay, don't cry." Then Chu-han turned around and embraced Lin Yi's body. She couldn't stop sobbing and said, "Besides my mom, no one has ever treated me as kindly as this." Hearing that, Lin Yi lowered his head, gently lifted her chin with his hand, and said in a soft tone, "Silly girl, you're grown up now. Don't cry like that." Li Chuhan nodded while wiping her own tears. She immediately turned to the cabinet beside him and said, "Wait a moment, I also bought you a gift." In her hand, she held a bag similar to Wang Ying's. Seeing what was in front of him, Lin Yi secretly thought, "That bag can't be." From the bag, he pulled out a belt. Seeing this, Li Chuhan said, "I didn't know how to choose. I just picked this." Hearing her words, Lin Yi stammered, "I just happen to be short a belt. It's perfect." Upon hearing this, Li Chuhan joyfully hugged Lin Yi tightly and exclaimed, "Really? That's great!" Lin Yi could only chuckle softly, "Ha ha." In the quiet night at Lin Yi's villa, the sound of a door opening broke the silence. A pair of slender white legs stepped inside. A girl in a black dress was placing something on the table. Suddenly, Lin Yi's voice rang out from behind. "You've come! Don't go, okay?" At the sound of his voice, Kyun Nian, who was preparing to leave, jumped in surprise. He grasped her hand and pulled her onto the bed. Kyun Nian gaped, unable to react to Lin Yi's sudden action. She was startled, pulling the blanket over their heads, and anxiously exclaimed, "Weren't you supposed to be asleep?" Lin Yi smiled and replied, "Who said turning off the lights means sleeping?" At that moment, the blanket had been pulled down to their chests, and Kyun Nian's eyes clearly showed her embarrassment. Lin Yi continued, "On the contrary, why did you sneak into my room?" Kyun Nian retorted, "It's not that I wanted to come, but Old Man Noel sent me to give you a gift." As she spoke, she raised her hand to signal him to be quiet. Lin Yi winked, pulling up her dress to take a peek, showing his delight. "Why does Old Man Noel dress you so warmly?" Kyun Nian tried to stop him. "Don't mess around." She turned on the light and then went out to get the gift box she mentioned placing on the bed. Lin Yi looked at the box, showing an expression of interest, one hand resting on his chin as he said, "Is the gift this big?" She just spoke while opening the box. At this moment, she smiled, and it could be seen that her cheeks were red from embarrassment. "Let me show you. This is a photo of me when I was little. No one else has ever seen it. This is a unique gift." She opened the box, her eyes wide and her face showing joy, but her cheeks were still reddened due to a bit of shyness. After opening the box, the photos inside fell out. It was evident that the box contained her childhood photos. Lin Yi stroked his chin, picked up one photo, and expressed his delight, saying, "Looking at you at 3 years old, one can see your character. Even then, you were like this." Kyun Nian blushed, her eyes closed in a show of delight, and replied, "Ha ha, was born this way, no escape." She showed him each photo clearly. "Look, this is when I first received the Outstanding Student Award." Suddenly, he picked up a tube filled with star-shaped paper and then asked Kyun Nian, "There's a tube of stars here. Who gave this to you?" She looked towards the star tube, showing surprise. Her voice echoed, "Ha ha, this wasn't a gift from someone else, but I gave it to someone." As she spoke, her finger rested on her cheek, her face displaying a sheepish smile. Lin Yi asked again with a surprised expression, "Is there really a man who would refuse your gift?" Kyun Nian crawled over to a spot and pointed to the distant picture. "Look, it's this person." After he looked at the photo of that person, his face showed discomfort as he said, "Humph, not even as good-looking as me." She smiled brightly, her cheeks flushed, and replied, "That's right. If not, you wouldn't have a chance." After that, the two lay down on the mattress. Lin Yi hugged Kyun Nian close. Suddenly, she asked, "Did you have any fun stories when you were little? Tell me." He began to recount his time at Blue Sky Orphanage. "I was the champion for 3 consecutive seasons there, had no rivals at all. After that, seeing that I couldn't find any opponents, I withdrew and stopped participating in the underworld." She lay on one side, her cheeks glowing as she listened to him talk. Suddenly, she asked, "Lin Yi, do you want to find your parents? With your current ability, can you find them? Or are you angry with them?" Lin Yi calmly replied, "It's not so much anger. It's like with an X, meaning I don't feel anything anymore." Kyun Nian looked a bit worried. "Are you sure?" Can you face it calmly? His face was very calm. He rested his hands behind his head on the mattress, closed his eyes, and continued speaking. Of course. To put it this way, years ago, when my mother brought me to the orphanage, she cried terribly, and she stuffed me with 1,000, that's already a bond. Lin Yi said, moreover, all 4 of your limbs are intact. If it weren't for some special reason, you wouldn't have brought yourself to it. Her eyes widened as she looked at Lin Yi and burst out laughing. Mr. Lin, you've grown up. She hugged Lin Yi and said, let's not talk anymore. Let's sleep. He gave a playful smile. Ha ha. I've wanted to sleep early for a long time. Kyunnian suddenly blushed. He held her in his arms and said, it's boring to sleep alone. Then, unexpectedly, he kissed her soft lips. Kyunnian closed her eyes as if savoring the moment. After a while, Kyunnian's hand clenched tightly onto the pillow. The two merged in the sweetness of love, while the light remained on in the familiar bedroom, a scene too ambiguous to articulate for children under 18. The sky gradually brightened, with gentle sunlight shining down here. In the villa, Kyunnian was holding her toothbrush and a cup. She complained a bit. Lin Yi, it's all your fault. I still have things to do this morning. At this moment, Lin Yi was still leaning against the bed frame, slowly explaining, didn't I call you earlier to wake you up? It's because you were too lazy to get up, saying you wanted to sleep a little longer. After a busy period, she finally finished changing her clothes and was putting on her high heels. She turned around and reminded him, I have some work at the company. I want to go watch a movie this afternoon. We've been together for a long time and haven't gone to the movies together even once. Lin Yi had to compromise with her. All right, let me buy the tickets. Then he waved goodbye to her. The door outside slammed shut. Lin Yi lay down for a moment, then started to sit up and wash up, changing clothes and other things. He looked at the watch on his wrist. All right, there are still 4 hours left. He still had a gift to give at the company, and Lin Yi's car arrived in front of the security booth. He chatted with the person inside. Uncle, not going back to your wife for Christmas? The security guard laughed and replied, Brother Lin, I don't celebrate foreign holidays. Are you here to see Specialist Liang? Lin Yi cheerfully nodded. Yes. She's at the unit today, right? The security guard opened the barrier for his car to enter while saying, She's here. Hasn't gone out all morning. Now you can just go in and have lunch with her. Lin Yi slowly responded, Yes. He then drove into the company. At the canteen, he saw Liang Roshu approaching, and the staff all politely greeted her. Hello, Specialist Liang. Liang Roshu raised her eyebrows and smiled. All right, everyone eat slowly. She picked up the tray and walked to the place where she ordered a small bowl of rice, stir-fried eggs with tomatoes, sour stir-fried mustard greens, and a bowl of soup. Suddenly, a person appeared behind Liang Roshu. That person abruptly spoke up. Oh, come on, eating vegetables. Aren't you hungry? You should eat some meat. This startled her, making her jump. Then her face turned grim, incredibly angry. She turned around and replied, What's wrong with you? It's not like I'm forcing you to pay. When that person took off the mask, it turned out to be Lin Yi, waving at her. Liang Roshu froze for a moment. Immediately, she changed her attitude. Her eyes brightened. Gently, she asked Lin Yi, Hey, why are you here? She grabbed his hand, gently saying, Let's go eat in the office. He replied, Okay. In Liang Roshu's office, the two entered the room and she casually locked the door, then turned to him, speaking with surprise, You really have a lot of guts to come here? Lin Yi took off his mask, smiling. It's not a holiday, just came to visit you a bit. The girl immediately blushed and spread her hands, asking him, So, where's the gift? Lin Yi chuckled. So straightforward. I like that. He took out a purple gift box from his pocket. You see if you like it. This isn't cheap. Liang Roshu took the gift box and opened it to find a jade bracelet inside. She was so excited that she exclaimed, Wow, it's so beautiful. Lin Yi scratched his face, smiling, As long as you like it. Suddenly, Liang Roshu remembered, Wait, I also have a gift for you. She took a gift bag from the shelf and happily walked over to him. When Lin Yi saw it, he froze, forcing a smile, secretly thinking, what a coincidence, it's from the same brand. Liang Ruoshu smiled brightly, still happily recounting, I picked this out while shopping yesterday. It looks really nice when paired with a suit. After finishing her story, she unknowingly glanced at him, only to see that he looked a bit worried. She asked with concern, why does your expression seem off? How could Lin Yi tell the truth? He simply sighed and accepted it. He praised her. I'm so touched. You really know everything. My belt was broken and I was just thinking of getting a new one. She was extremely happy to see that he liked the gift she chose. As long as you like it. Lin Yi opened the gift, holding a brand new belt in his hands. He felt pain for his waist and thought to himself, damn it, there's only one waist. Why are there so many belts? I don't even know if my waist can take it. Liang Ruoshu's hands touched his shoulders, and then she leaned closer to him. Her voice was alluring as she said, are we eating rice or eating... As she spoke, she pointed to herself, and Lin Yi immediately kissed her lips, replying, what are you eating here? Then he gently pushed her down onto the sofa. The sounds of intimacy echoed in Liang Ruoshu's office. In a modern and spacious movie theater, Lin Yi was walking in with his beautiful girlfriend, Ji Kyun-nian. The two were embracing each other and happily chatting. Ji Kyun-nian began to pout. Mr. Lin, I want popcorn. Can you buy some? Hearing this, he smiled widely, his eyes crinkling in delight, responding to her request. What's stopping me? Just wait for me. Just a moment later, he had 2 large boxes of popcorn filled to the brim in his hands, enough for 3 lifetimes to eat. Seeing the 2 boxes in Lin Yi's hands, Ji Kyun-nian couldn't help but be astonished. So much, aren't you afraid of burning your tongue? Moreover, there's so much sugar. Lin Yi immediately leaned towards her, with a captivating gaze that made her shyly blush even more. They both turned away while laughing and joking with each other. Only Kyun-nian felt embarrassed, lightly hitting his shoulder. Ha ha! So naughty! In the cinema, there were only a few people intently watching the movie playing on the big screen. Kyun-nian, with tears welling up in her eyes, gently wiped them with a handkerchief. Perhaps it was those scenes on screen that made one unable to hold back their tears. Lin Yi, sitting beside her, seeing her cry heart-wrenchingly, felt helpless. He could only hand her some tissues while asking with concern, why are you crying so much? Ji Kyun-nian, although crying, still looked beautiful and captivating. She replied, because I'm so moved, I can't cry anymore. If I cry more, my makeup will smudge. I won't be able to face others outside later. Then suddenly, a man in the front row was proposing. In his hands was a big, beautiful bouquet of roses. He slowly began to speak. My love. The words surprised both of them. Ji Kyun-nian grabbed Lin Yi's arm, saying meaningfully, look, it seems like someone is about to propose. We are witnessing this romantic moment. Lin Yi wasn't too surprised. He replied, it's common. Today is Christmas. There must be someone standing up to propose. Ji Kyun-nian admired them a lot. She agreed with Lin Yi, saying, that's right, so romantic. But suddenly, something happened with the couple that was getting engaged. The girl not only rejected the proposal, but also stood up, looking angry, and said, you're such a hypocrite. Do you think I would say yes just because you have money? The girl turned away, leaving the boy confused about what had just happened. After that, the boy looked down and apologized. Everyone in the theater was awkwardly laughing, but surely they would sympathize with him. He even said, I'm sorry, I've made everyone laugh at me. The situation was a bit awkward. He scratched his head, trying to smile. Although it's a bit unpleasant, he's not the one who really wanted to propose, so it's not a big deal for him. Suddenly, he unexpectedly handed the bouquet to Lin Yi, much to Ji Kyun-nian's astonishment. Here, you take it? Lin Yi took the bouquet, his cheeks turning red. He sincerely offered his gift in front of her. My love, Merry Christmas. Ji Kyun-nian was astonished, covering her mouth with her hand. Isn't it you? Lin Yi awkwardly laughed, saying, "What are you thinking? It's just a necklace. I know you're not ready yet." Suddenly, Ji Kyun-nian kissed his cheek. She was moved and said, "Thank you for your gift. I really like it. It's not the roses or the necklace that I like, but the thought you put into it. You've already given me a surprise." She instinctively hugged him and cried. He comforted her. "You silly girl, being so emotional at your age." She wiped the tears still lingering on her eyelashes and said, "Oh, right, I forgot something." She reached into her pocket, took out something, and held out an orange box towards Lin Yi. This shocked him. "That big box? You have another gift for me." The gift was opened to reveal an exquisite belt. Lin Yi looked at it with a gaze full of fear, secretly thinking, did the four of them discuss this together? Ji Kyun-nian lightly poked his chest with her finger and whispered, "Come on, let's go home." Her fingers twirled around his shirt. She then asked about his schedule. "New Year's is coming soon. When do you plan to return to Yangcheng?" Lin Yi strolled alongside her and replied, "Around the 29th or so." He looked ahead and smiled. "Anyway, since it's New Year's, I need to prepare a lot of things. I'll return to help out a bit." Ji Kyun-nian beamed. "Ha ha, then I'll go with you." Both of them walked towards the luxurious car parked by the roadside. Lin Yi added, "All right, I'll give you a really big red envelope." The next morning, at a luxurious house, Ji Kyun-nian was still lying in bed, sound asleep. Meanwhile, Lin Yi had already woken up. He walked quietly so as not to wake her, stretched, twisted his neck, and sighed, "This Christmas is really exhausting." He sat down on the chair by the window and boldly asked, "System, are you there?" Right after his question, the Lingwei system immediately appeared before him, playfully replying, "Yes!" The Lingwei system appeared, sparkling brightly in a stylish outfit, looking just like a little kitten pouting. This made Lin Yi exclaim excitedly, "Oh my god, this outfit is so daring!" Lin Yi and Lingwei sat outside facing each other. He whispered in a reasonable tone, "Just in time. We have some time today. Let's talk from the heart a bit." Lingwei, with a bored expression, revealed her weakness. Her index finger moved back and forth, shaking. "I am a robot without emotions. There's no way to dig out my heart, my lungs to talk with my master." In response to her pessimism, Lin Yi was concerned and said, "Don't be like that." Then he pointed his thumb at himself and asked Lingwei about another issue he was curious about. "Let me ask you a few questions. If I were to die, would you also disappear?" Lingwei really wanted to prove to him that she was only there because he had appeared. She quickly replied, "Of course, I will automatically self-destruct." Lin Yi suddenly shed tears. He wiped away the tear with his hand, causing Lingwei to be astonished. Then he said, "So touching. Is it really true that your origins cannot be revealed? Is it really possible that there are aliens in this world?" Lingwei patiently explained to Lin Yi, "You understand that it's not aliens, but the foundation of human civilization. This is a civilization that humanity has never known, but now humankind has discovered its existence. They are currently conducting explorations." Lin Yi was very surprised to hear this, and he had to exclaim, "Oh my, it seems like I have stumbled upon a secret." It seemed that he had achieved his goal, and he said goodbye to Lingwei with the words, "All right, I understand now. You can go." The system cheerfully waved at him, her whole body emitting a shimmering blue light in the darkness. She even mentioned the number 886. Before long, the old year passed, making way for the new year. Around them, the scenery became much brighter, and colorful balloons were tightly tied and floated high up. Lin Yi and Ji Kyun-nian were carrying gifts back home for their mother. She came out to greet them and, upon seeing their load, said, "Oh dear, you've bought so many things again." When he saw his mother, Lin Yi became cheerful and asked, "How is Ningyue doing? How is she with her boyfriend?" His mother smiled gently. "She called me yesterday and said things are going quite well. I've met that boy once, and he's not bad, but he seems a bit too hasty and not as mature as you." As soon as she finished her sentence, Ji Kyun-nian burst into laughter. Lin Yi noticed and turned to her, asking, "What are you laughing at? Is what my mother said not true? Ji Kyun-nian gradually contained her smile, soothing him with a pointed comment. Yes, yes, yes. You are the most mature, not impulsive at all. A little while after he stepped outside, suddenly the phone in Lin Yi's jacket pocket buzzed. He answered, and on the other end, a voice said, Brother Lin, it's Wu Zhao Yu. Are you back in Yangcheng? There's something I want to discuss with you. He smiled and replied to the caller, I'm back. What's up? While on the phone, he looked at the children playing in the yard across the way. The person on the line said, Isn't your orphanage located on the outskirts? The city is planning to turn that area into a new economic zone. He replied happily, This is a good thing. Just follow the procedure that the city has set out, but you should give me some time to find a new place. The other person spoke again. That's easy, no big deal. The main thing is that the project is quite large. We want to find a reputable construction company. Can Chao Yang undertake it? He smiled brightly. Sure, then thank you. We can discuss this further when the time comes. As soon as he hung up, his mother beside him curiously asked, Son, is it about relocation? He smiled to reassure her, Yes, this place is in the suburbs. Sooner or later, we have to move. Saying that, he turned to Ji Kyun-nian. This project is about to be handed over to the Chao Yang Group. We should set aside some time to discuss the details. Ji Kyun-nian happily replied while stroking her hair, Okay, I'll go to the company tomorrow to open a meeting and arrange this matter. Lin Yi noticed that his mother still appeared uncomfortable with the announcement. She seemed worried about something. He then reassured her, Mom, moving is a good thing. Why are you making such a sad face? Didn't anyone come to inform everyone in advance? Mother Lin Yi said anxiously to her son, There have been quite a few people coming by, but they all seem very fierce, not like good people at all. Moreover, you kids have no idea how expensive housing in the city is. If we have to move, how will these children manage? Lin Yi immediately stepped forward, soothingly rubbing her back to calm her unease. You don't need to worry about this, Mother. Your daughter-in-law will take care of it. There's no need to worry about money. Furthermore, moving to the city will allow these children to have more exposure to the world. It will definitely be better than here. I will handle the school arrangements, so you don't need to be concerned. Now feeling a bit more at ease, she replied, Well, then I can only rely on you. Lin Yi bent down, placing his hand on his mother's shoulder. At this age, why are you still crying? Isn't that embarrassing? Then let's decide on this. Tomorrow, you all can take the kids out to play, and we will handle the rest. Lin Yi withdrew his earlier somber expression, replacing it with a smile. All right, let's eat first, or the food will get cold. The three of them walked into the house, one following after the other, when suddenly Ji Kyun-nian grabbed his sleeve, pulling him back and asking, Do you know why Uncle Zhao isn't coming out? She expressed her concern, saying, Earlier I heard some kids saying that Uncle Zhao got into a fight a few days ago. He didn't turn around, only asking back, Huh, who did he fight with? Ji Kyun-nian replied, It seems to be with the group that came to discuss relocation. In the end, they couldn't sell, the price wasn't reasonable, so they got into a scuffle. There are cameras in the courtyard. You can go check tomorrow to see if we can get some footage. Lin Yi's hand suddenly tightened into a fist, visibly showing the veins in his hand. He was furious, furrowing his brow tightly. These people really do have a lot of guts. The blue sky with sparkling rays of sunlight enveloped the Yangcheng branch of Chao Yang Group. As Lin Yi and Ji Kyun-nian stepped through the door, they immediately saw a group of people waiting. They slightly bowed their heads in unison, saying, G CEO, Mr. Lin. At that moment, Liu's CEO rushed over to greet them. G CEO, Mr. Lin. Ji Kyun-nian, upon seeing him, immediately asked, Is there any issue with the company lately? Liu's CEO promptly replied, There are no issues at all. The profits this year are quite good, and everything is stable. Ji Kyun-nian frowned slightly and suggested, Let's go to the conference room. Tell him to bring the financial records from the finance room over here for me to review. Upon hearing this, Liu's CEO quickly indicated a direction with his hand and responded, Yes, G CEO, I will arrange it right away. A little while later, through the arrangement of CEO Liu, Ji Kyun-nian and Lin Yi entered and sat in the conference room along with many others. On the table, everyone had a stack of documents. However, Lin Yi remained fixated on his phone, seemingly captivated by whatever was on it. Ji Kyun-nian glanced at Lin Yi, flipped through the pages of the document in his hands, and then began to speak. Today, we are mainly here to discuss something else. The piece of land east of Hanshui Road is preparing to establish a new economic zone. This matter everyone is aware of, right? Hearing that, CEO Liu appeared worried and said, "Yes, yes." Then, Ji Kyun-nian quickly looked around at everyone and started the discussion. This project has been assigned to us. The total value is not less than 2 billion. The first step is to find people. Before the Lunar New Year, this project can be approved, and after the New Year, we should be able to start construction. The others who heard this still kept a worried expression. CEO Liu spoke on behalf of the group saying, "Rest assured, CEO Ji, we will definitely handle this project well." Lin Yi, despite still holding his phone, noticed the unusual expressions on their faces and said, "Getting such a large project is not something to be unhappy about, right? Why do you all have such expressions?" Liu, the CEO, scratched his head and forced a smile as he replied, "Gee, CEO Lin, this is indeed a good project, but it's a bit hot, you know. Our Chaoyang group is not easy to deal with." Hearing this, Lin Yi put down the phone in his hand and stared at him with confusion. "Why is it hot?" Liu, the CEO, explained, "This project has caught the attention of the fifth master in Yangcheng." The more Liu spoke, the more anxious he became, with fear on his face. "If we compete for it, conflicts are bound to occur." Ji Kyun-nian quickly asked, "Who is that person? Is he very powerful?" Liu, the CEO, unreservedly responded, "He is quite capable. If we really fight for this project, it will be difficult for us to survive in the construction industry in Yangcheng in the future." Ji Kyun-nian worriedly asked Lin Yi, "What do you think about this matter?" Then she asked another question. "Should we talk to Wu Zhao Yu about it?" Lin Yi, with an indifferent expression, boredly turned his phone and replied, "Maybe we should just let it be." But then he became serious and said, "The project worth over 2 billion is already yours. This small matter we can handle ourselves." Liu, the CEO, cautiously asked, "Lin, are you sure you want to take on this project?" Lin Yi slammed the phone down on the table and confidently assured, "Of course we have to do it." Liu's CEO, hearing him assure, anxiously rubbed his head, a frown on his face. "Then it won't be easy. I guess I'll have to go to him tonight to get a punishment." Liu's CEO continued with a worried expression. "Tonight is his 60th birthday celebration, inviting many people to attend. I've also been invited. Should I go or not?" Lin Yi confidently replied, "Why not go?" He stood up, trying to ease the unease of Liu's CEO. "It's okay, I'll go with you tonight." Ji Kyun-nian also stood up, saying, "All right, let's call it a day." She quickly assigned tasks. "Liu's CEO, please sort out some documents, items from the current and past projects, and select those over 1 billion. We need to meet Wu Zhao Yu to discuss in detail." Liu's CEO immediately stood up, responding, "Understood, Ji CEO, I'll do it right now." Suddenly, Ji Kyun-nian held Lin Yi's hand, sweetly asking, "How about I go with you two?" Lin Yi immediately replied, "No need. You won't be able to help anyway." In the meeting room, only the two of them remained. Lin Yi then asked her, "Could you check the cameras to see if we can find out if those people have been up to something?" Ji Kyun-nian still tried to ask again, "Are you really sure you don't need me to go along?" Lin Yi leaned in and whispered into her ear in a somewhat enchanting tone, "I want you, and at night too." Ji Kyun-nian immediately pinched his arm in anger and scolded, "Damn it!" After that, Lin Yi opened the door and stepped outside. At that moment, CEO Liu was waiting outside. When he saw Lin Yi, he called out, "Mr. Lin!" He followed behind and asked, "Aren't you going to prepare anything?" Lin Yi turned back, puzzled. Prepare for what? CEO Liu was anxious. Today is the 60th birthday of the 5th Master. Everyone attending is dressed very formally. Are you not dressed a bit too casually? Lin Yi turned around, his eyes cold as he replied, If he is honest tonight, he calmly continued, then I might let him celebrate this birthday. But if he makes me uncomfortable, Lin Yi stated seriously, I will let him have his funeral this evening. CEO Liu was alarmed after hearing this, thinking to himself, Mr. Lin is really a bully. Meanwhile, Ji Nian was on her way to the orphanage. Wang Chuiping was picking vegetables when she turned around and saw her coming back alone, then asked, My daughter-in-law, why are you here all by yourself? Where's your son? Ji Nian cheerfully replied, He has a social event tonight. I didn't go with him, so he brought me back first. I'll help you. Ji Nian, after taking the bag off her shoulder, immediately helped her mother with the chores. Lin Yi quickly stepped in, waving his hands to stop her. No, 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 how can I let you do this with your fair hands? Wang Chuiping pointed inside the house and said, That's right, Ning Yue is here, waiting for you inside. Go find her, and later when it's time for dinner, she will call you all. Hearing this, Ji Nian replied, Then I'll go over there. A moment later, she appeared at Ning Yue's room door. Ning Yue was listening to music, and upon seeing her enter, she happily exclaimed, Sister-in-law, you're back. Where's my brother? Ji Nian walked in, placed her bag on the table, and answered, My brother has a dinner party tonight, so he won't be coming back with me. Then she added, By the way, I have something I want to ask you. Do you know where the camera of the orphanage is placed? Ning Yue immediately replied, I know, it's in your mother's room. With a concerned expression, Ning Yue continued, But usually, there's nothing happening at the orphanage. My mom doesn't even turn on the computer. I don't know if the camera is working or not. After that conversation, a room unexpectedly opened up. Ji Nian and Ning Yue hurriedly stepped inside. As soon as Ning Yue entered, she went straight to the computer on the table, sat down in the chair, and turned on the computer to check. Ji Nian also came over to look at the computer. After a while of searching, Ning Yue said, Today is really strange, Mom turned on this camera again. I remember there were several that were broken, but why are they all working now? Nian smiled. Maybe they replaced the old ones. Ning Yue nodded in agreement. Maybe so. My brother donated a lot of money to the orphanage, so Mom probably replaced them all. Besides, the image is really clear. Not bad at all. They were currently on the 3rd floor of the orphanage. Nian then asked, Can you help me find the footage from Saturday? Ning Yue replied, Yes, of course. She quickly searched on the computer, but suddenly noticed, Why can we only search from Sunday onwards? Nian speculated, Could it be that the memory isn't enough, and therefore it's not saved? Ning Yue quickly got up. Maybe there's another USB, I'll look for it. She searched all over the room, moving close to a cabinet. While looking, her attention was inadvertently drawn to a glass cabinet. Ning Yue suddenly discovered something. Her eyes lit up. She opened the cabinet door and quickly called out to Nian, Sister-in-law, look at this. I want to show you this thing. Nian asked curiously, What is it? Ning Yue pointed inside the cupboard and said, Sister, look down here. Nian followed Ning Yue's gesture and looked inside. She saw a bright red object and her eyes widened in astonishment. This is Su embroidery. Ning Yue hesitated. Su embroidery? I think I've heard of that before. Nian took the piece of Su embroidery and happily said, Su embroidery is so expensive. This blanket could probably sell for more than 1 million. Ning Yue was surprised. Really? It's priced that high? Nian continued, Your mother is from Wuzhong. She knows about Su embroidery. I'm telling you, 1 million would be selling it at a loss. If luck is on our side, it might even sell for 1,500,000. Ning Yue looked at the blanket and said in amazement, Oh my gosh, thank goodness you showed me. If not, I wouldn't have known there was something valuable like this at home. Kyunnian then asked, "Weren't you going to show me something? Could it be this?" Ningyue pondered. "I really didn't know. I said it was something good because—" She continued, "Years ago, my brother was wrapped in this, and then he was taken to the orphanage." Hearing this, Kyunnian exclaimed in surprise, "Is that true?" Ningyue took the silk cloth and assured, "It's truly what mother told me." After that, she said while carrying it, "Sister-in-law, if you want to see it, I can show it to you. It's no big deal." Kyunnian immediately reminded, "Be careful with that." She hurried over and added, "This is the only item belonging to my brother." Ningyue calmly replied, "It's fine, it won't get damaged." She slowly placed the precious Su embroidery on the table. Right after that, she hurriedly opened the cloth to take a look. When the cloth was opened, both of them immediately widened their eyes, their gazes filled with astonishment. Inside, there was an old, tattered letter sealed with a golden button. Ningyue unwrapped the red cloth and noticed a letter inside. She told Kyunnian, "Sister-in-law, this letter is quite strange. It is still sealed." Kyunnian suddenly noticed the writing on the wax seal. She picked up the letter for a closer look and said, "This is called fire paint, a thing commonly used by people in the past." Ningyue curiously asked, "Sister-in-law, do you think this letter might contain details about my brother's background? Let's open it and see." Kyunnian immediately shook her head in refusal. "I can't dare to do that. I'm afraid it would upset Mother Wang." Seeing that, Ningyue laughed and said, "At most, she would just scold you for it. I'll take the blame for Kyunnian." Suddenly, Kuiping came out of the kitchen, calling the two to come and eat, startling them. Seeing their strange behavior, she asked, "What are you two doing?" Ningyue, unable to hide it, raised the letter and said, "We wanted to see the red blanket. When we took it out, we found this letter." Kuiping took the letter back, helplessly saying, "You two are quite clever. You've managed to find this as well." Ningyue immediately asked, "This letter has been hidden for 20 years. Has it never been opened?" Kuiping sighed and said, "This letter was written for your brother. I didn't feel it was appropriate to read it, so I didn't dare to touch it. I originally intended to wait until your brother succeeded and then give it to him, but I didn't expect you two to find it." Ningyue suddenly had an idea. "You can tell Mom that Lin Yi and Kyunnian are already set. They will sooner or later be one family. Why don't we open it and see first?" She immediately declined. Seeing this, Ningyue went closer and said in a coaxing tone, "Let's read it first. If there's nothing in it, we can give it to him to avoid agitating him." Kuiping thought for a moment and then agreed, telling them, "There won't be a next time." Ningyue was very happy to see her agree. Kyunnian took the letter and asked Kuiping, "Do you have scissors? I want to keep the fire paint on the envelope." Ningyue said she had it, and she ran to get the scissors. She carefully handed the scissors to Kyunnian, who slowly cut open the envelope. The two began to read the content of the letter. "Hello, I am a mother who cannot fulfill my responsibilities, unable to give my son the complete love of a mother. This current responsibility of mine towards the little one is a debt for a lifetime. Having inquired everywhere and learned about the situation at your orphanage, I have made the decision to send my son here for nurturing. Here, I kindly ask you to raise the child to be a good person. No need for great wealth, just that the child can become an ordinary person, live peacefully and happily, marry, and have children one day. The child is from the Tin family. I believe that the nature of the little one is not bad, so towards his adoptive parents, he will be very filial throughout his life. If one day the child asks about me, please tell him that I had an accident and have passed away." The letter was signed anonymously. Kyunnian and Ningyue both looked at the letter in confusion. Then Ningyue told Kuiping, "This letter is written for you. It has nothing to do with Lin Yi at all. I thought it contained a more horrifying secret." Kuiping then read the letter and regretted, "I wish I had read it sooner." After that, she began to pay attention to the strange details in the letter. In the signature section, Lin Yi's birth mother only left her surname, not mentioning her first name. Ning Yue beside her felt a bit melancholic, silently thinking, if there weren't something going on, she wouldn't choose to abandon Lin Yi. Moreover, she doesn't even dare to leave her first name, only her surname to prove her existence. Suddenly, Kui Ping spoke up, breaking the silence. All right, don't talk anymore. The rice is ready, just wait for the two of you. Ning Yue pushed her outside, telling her, you and Kyun Nian will talk for a bit longer. After that, she put the letter back into the cloth and went to find a CD. After searching for a while, she finally found it. The two of them inserted the CD into the computer, each of them looking tense. Kyun Nian turned on the CD and a video extracted from a camera appeared. In the video, three men were talking to each other. Suddenly, they erupted into a conflict. Two of the men rushed to beat up the other man. Kyun Nian told Ning Yue, edit the video, send it to my phone so I can send it to Lin Yi. At the Liton Hotel, Lin Yi was in the parking lot. He looked around at all the expensive cars and said to his secretary, this place is not bad. There are quite a few rich people around. Suddenly, Lin Yi received a message. He opened his phone to check, and it was the video that Kyun Nian had sent. He immediately changed his expression and said, let's go in and see. Saying that, the two of them headed towards the hotel. A staff member asked them, may I see your invitation, please? Lin Yi's secretary immediately took out the invitation and said, please go this way. The staff member saw Lin Yi and stopped him, saying, sir, you may enter, but this person cannot. He is not dressed according to the specifications, so he cannot come in. Seeing that, Lin Yi's secretary suggested, let's take him to the newly opened shopping center to change clothes. Otherwise, he won't be able to enter by tonight. Lin Yi, feeling irritated, turned to leave, saying, no need, I'm not going in anymore. If anything comes up later, just call me. Seeing him sulking like that, the secretary was flustered, pleading while crying, Mr. Lin, don't! What should I do if you leave? Just as Lin Yi was about to turn back, a man suddenly appeared. He said, is this Mr. Lin? It turned out that the man was Wu Jin Tong. He enthusiastically greeted him, what a coincidence to meet here! Lin Yi turned to ask his secretary, who is this guy? The secretary whispered, this is the fifth master's son, Wu Jin Tong. After that, Lin Yi's secretary stepped forward to greet Jin Tong. Mr. Wu, it's been a long time. Lin, we've come back to Yangcheng as well. I came with him to attend the banquet, but we were stopped outside for not wearing formal attire. Seeing this, Jin Tong instructed the staff member, let them in, they are the main characters tonight. If they are stopped outside, the banquet won't be interesting. The staff member immediately complied. Lin Yi's secretary awkwardly said, he's just joking. They are only minor characters. They wouldn't dare claim to be the main ones. Jin Tong didn't care. He turned to Lin Yi and asked, brother, you are in charge of Chaoyang Group, so did you snatch away the new economic zone? Lin Yi felt a bit displeased and glanced at him. Jin Tong raised his thumb in appreciation towards him. A young man with big ambitions, daring to compete in our territory even against monks from elsewhere. That's really impressive. As soon as Jin Tong finished speaking, Lin Yi brushed his hand away and said, don't block the way. You're still waiting to go in and eat. Jin Tong, feeling insulted by Lin Yi's disregard, trembled with anger. As the elevator doors closed, Lin Yi's secretary nervously wiped the sweat from his forehead. Seeing him like that, Lin Yi asked, we're taking the elevator, not bungee jumping. Why are you so tense? Lin Yi's secretary was sweating profusely, stammering as he said, Lin, we're done for. The fifth master has found out that we've taken on the new economic zone project. Lin Yi smiled at him and said, well, that saves us the trouble of lengthy explanations. We're here today precisely to handle this matter. Lin Yi stepped out of the elevator and explained to his secretary, you can avoid it for a moment, but can you avoid it for a lifetime? Even if you don't go to find him, he's bound to come looking for you. Then the two of them entered the banquet hall where everyone was looking at them. Lin Yi's secretary noticed this and panicked, turning to Lin Yi. It seems like they already know something is up. Lin Yi calmly poured himself a drink and said, "Let them know." Suddenly, a girl appeared calling out to him. It was Bing Bing, a beautiful and gentle girl. After greeting him, she raised her hand in a wave. Bing Bing walked over to chat with Lin Yi, and he said, "You are my sister's boyfriend's sister, right? What a coincidence that we meet here." She replied, "Today, I brought my best friend along to broaden our horizons." As they were chatting, suddenly, Bing Bing's best friend, Bei Bei, rushed over and asked what she was doing there. Then she grabbed Bing Bing's hand and pulled her away, anxiously saying, "We need to get out of here quickly, otherwise we might get into trouble." Bing Bing didn't understand what was happening. Lin Yi was taken aback when he heard Bei Bei say that. Bing Bing asked, "Bei Bei, what are you doing? This is my friend. What's wrong with chatting for a bit?" She looked serious and whispered to Bing Bing, "They are taking away the business of the fifth master. What do you think? Is this serious?" Bing Bing glanced at Lin Yi with concern and said, "My brother and Lin Yi's sister are in love. Maybe in half a year they'll get married. If they back out, I will feel very awkward." Hearing those words, Lin Yi agreed with her. He also felt, if Ningyue marries into her family, she surely won't be at a loss. After a while, the steward of the fifth master announced, "The fifth master has arrived." Wu Tianfu and his sons stepped out, exuding authority. Lin Yi's secretary immediately informed him, "Mr. Lin, the fifth master is Wu Tianfu." Behind him, besides Wu Jintong, there is his adopted son, Zhao Guangli, who has taken over his business and is also quite influential. Lin Yi looked at them with disdain, thinking to himself, "They're just a bunch of scoundrels. On the contrary, they really know how to put on a show." Wu Tianfu clasped his hands together and said, "Thank you all. Although I am very busy with work, I still came to my birthday celebration. Wu Tianfu has prepared fine wine, and I hope nobody dislikes it." Suddenly, a guest said, "I suggest we raise a glass to toast the fifth master, wishing the fifth master a long life, good health, and may every year be as today." Lin Yi thought, just looking at him shows he's trying to curry favor. He couldn't help but laugh, spitting water from his mouth, and Wu Tianfu laughed heartily, responding to the guest's earlier toast. "Thank you for your blessings. Cheers!" Suddenly, the door opened, and a loud voice echoed throughout the room. Come on, make way, make way!" A group of people carrying a golden Buddha statue entered. Zhao Guangli immediately walked over to Tianfu, saying, "Father, this is a gift that I have prepared for you." Hearing this, Tianfu was very happy. He smiled brightly like a child. Then Guangli wished him, "I wish you a great success in Yangcheng and a great success in the world." Suddenly, Lin Yi noticed the group carrying the Buddha statue. He saw some familiar faces, so he pulled out his phone to check the photo that Cunnian sent him. Lin Yi instantly recognized those people. He suddenly smiled and said, "I was just worried I couldn't find you guys, and here you are, presenting yourselves right at my doorstep." Zhao Guangli boldly declared, "Today, on my father's birthday, I want to say to everyone here that there are those who do not know the heights of heaven and the depths of the earth, ruining my father's good affairs." His face suddenly changed, appearing somewhat dangerous. He said, "Don't blame Zhao Guangli, this is not being polite." Suddenly, Lin Yi appeared, surprising many people. CEO Liu behind seemed a bit flustered. Lin Yi slowly approached. Wu Tianfu stepped forward to speak to CEO Liu. "CEO Liu, do you have time now? I have something personal I want to discuss with you." CEO Liu looked fearful and cautiously said, "Fifth Master, please go ahead." Wu Tianfu, appearing displeased, said, "I remember mentioning the new economic zone project to everyone before. You all barged in and took that project away. It really surprised me." Wu Jintong added, "Father, he is just a manager of a subsidiary company, and he doesn't hold much power anymore. Another person in charge from their side is also here. Why not talk to the main person?" Upon hearing this, Wu Tianfu was a bit confused, so he asked again, the main person. At this moment, Lin Yi adjusted his collar with a confident demeanor. Wu Tianfu looked at Lin Yi and asked again, "Young man, are you the person in charge of this project? Is there something you want to say to me?" Lin Yi coldly replied, "What is there to say to you? On the contrary, I am quite interested in talking to the two people behind you." These words seemed to infuriate Wu Tianfu. He grimaced and turned around, asking, "Who?" Lin Yi pointed at the two people behind Wu Tianfu, making them equally surprised. He also said, "They." This time, Wu Tianfu was provoked. He told the two people, "Come here." Upon hearing their boss's command, the two promptly walked over, respectfully answering, "Yes." After calling them over, he asked, "Brother, what do you want to say to them?" At this moment, Lin Yi's face appeared displeased. He said, "A few days ago, they came to Blue Sky Orphanage and hit my father. Am I wrong?" Zhao Guangli, similar to his father, turned purple from rage. He could no longer contain his impatience and pointed at Lin Yi, shouting loudly, "So what if we hit him? What do you want? Hurry up and hand over the project from the Wu family, or else I will." Before he could finish his sentence, Lin Yi struck Zhao Guangli's hand hard. Zhao Guangli's hand was knocked down, bending like a shrimp in pain. His face turned deep purple at that moment. Consider this a lesson to stop acting tough with Lin Yi. Just earlier, he was so arrogant, but now, Zhao Guangli had to kneel at Lin Yi's feet. Seeing his son humiliated in front of the crowd, Wu Tianfu really couldn't take it anymore. He said, "Today is my 60th birthday. Do you want to come and ruin the celebration?" Lin Yi still remained unfazed. He replied calmly, "In business, what matters is harmony, but it seems you don't have any harmony at all. Let me tell you, if I'm happy today, you might still have a chance to celebrate your birthday. But if I'm not happy..." Suddenly, he became dangerous, continuing with the frightening words that were about to come out. "Today will be your day of mourning." Then Lin Yi stepped closer to Wu Tianfu, placing his hand on the man's shoulder. He said, "Old man, the times have changed." The next three words that Lin Yi said would leave Tianfu at a loss for words. Those three words were, "Cut it out." His son, Zhao Guangli, seeing his father being bullied like this, got angry and intended to solve it with his fists. He was very impulsive. What kind of talk is that? It was thought that the one getting hit would be Lin Yi, but suddenly Guangli got slapped in the face. Lin Yi had gently smacked him, making him fly into the air. Meanwhile, Wu Tianfu stood beside, stunned and shocked. This time, Zhao Guangli truly couldn't take it anymore. He became furious and shouted, "You little brat from Nation TH, don't pretend to be a big shot in Yangcheng. Do you think Zhao Guangli is easy to bully?" Saying that, he pulled out a weapon. Bing Bing saw this and quickly shouted, "Mr. Lin, be careful!" Zhao Guangli moved forward to attack Lin Yi. The two sides struggled intensely, but the victory was of course leaning towards Lin Yi. Probably everyone could guess it, Lin Yi quickly snatched the weapon from Zhao Guangli's hand. After that, he slammed him face first into the ground. It was unclear if he had had any cosmetic surgery on his chin or nose, but if he had, it would surely cost him quite a bit for the corrections. Then, Lin Yi aimed the weapon at Wu Tianfu's neck, leaving him terrified. He threatened, saying, "Do you still want this project?" Wu Tianfu was very angry, but seeing the weapon pointed so closely at his neck, he didn't dare to resist. He could only exclaim, "All right, today I concede the new economic zone project. I don't want it anymore." Lin Yi played with the knife in his hand, warning, "You better be honest. Don't think about playing tricks behind my back. Even though I'm in Nation TH, dealing with scum like you only takes a phone call, so don't entertain any wrong thoughts." Wu Tianfu was very angry, but knowing he couldn't do anything, he said, "I understand." After Lin Yi had resolved everything, he casually slipped his hands into his pockets, looked at CEO Liu, and said, "Let's go. Why are you just standing there?" CEO Liu was still stunned by what had just happened. Oh! Wu Tianfu gritted his teeth, angrily thinking, "Who is this guy from Nation TH to dare stir things up here?" Shifting scenes to another location, CEO Liu asked Lin Yi, "Mr. Lin, is this matter settled? Wu Tianfu surely won't dare to trouble us anymore, right?" Lin Yi replied, "They are all inexperienced people. Just let it go." Hearing Lin Yi's words, CEO Liu felt relieved. "What you said makes me a lot more at ease." As Lin Yi and CEO Liu were on their way, suddenly, a pair of delicate white legs, wearing red high heels, walked up and said, "Mr. Lin,